caught lying to Congress. They weren't just allowing some to be sold. They were shipping them in. Yeah. And then, did you hear about Sinaloa? A national security got declared on it in Chicago. Sinaloa was allowed to ship drugs in for 5 years. And when the Attorney General brought that up and said, well, you know, Bush did this too, that's when they finally dropped the whole case. Because it was Bush was involved as well. I mean, you know about Iran-Contra and all that.
Yeah, of course.
You were out in California.
I lived, you know, that's not history for us. That was living history for us.
Well, what about drug decriminalization?
You know, I have seen over the years what drugs does to people. It ruins a lot of lives, especially the addictive drugs. And well, no,
you're the water's in the shot.
So we're not. Oh, we can't put a product in the shot.
No, it looks better if it's all is Lord Art Acevedo.
Okay, all right, Lord.
I didn't mean to. Here, you can have the water.
No, it's good.
You can have the milk too. Here,
but the thing is,
brought to you by. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He is crazy as ever. I love the man. Now you made me forget what we're talking about.
We're talking about Fast and Furious.
No, we were talking about something else.
Decriminalization of drugs.
Look, I am a proponent that the answer is not to because even in some European countries where they've decriminalized drugs, they're starting to take a second look at it because of the social impact it has on people's lives when people get addicted to some of the drugs. I am a proponent of we need to fight the war at the source, which means where they're being produced. And that's a national security issue that goes beyond the purview of the Office of Police Department. But I don't think the answer is to decriminalize drugs. Marijuana, I'm not that excited about. You know, I don't get too excited about marijuana.
But come on, I can pull the numbers up. You're saying Europe's taking a second look at it. They've got all sorts of numbers where you decriminalize and actually drug use goes down.
Well, if you look at Vancouver, which is a city that has a very permissive attitude towards drug use, they've got a tremendous problem there.
Well, yeah, when it's pockets, all the druggies move there.
Yeah, and
that's like Amsterdam. Well, listen, I don't like
Amsterdam is another area where they have problems.
Yeah, but I don't use illegal drugs. I've tried some of them, and always felt like I was kicked in the head by a mule. And I'm like, people pay for this. Yeah. I like coffee and stuff like that. But in the final equation, look what the drug war is doing to Mexico. Their own government's talking about decriminalizing. To me,
and again, it's not decriminalization. I think it's taking the war to the source, and that's the answer. If
the source is the U.S. government?
Well, if that were the case, then we need to do something about that as well.
Well, have you seen them admit that our troops have to grow the opium in Afghanistan?
I have not seen that.
You know what? You're a smart guy. It's convenient. You're like Sergeant Schultz.
Stop.
You've seen nothing.
Listen, I work 7 days a week. And my primary function is the city of Austin.
No, I know.
I don't have that much downtime, and I've got plenty of reading to do. And the only show I really watch on TV is The Walking Dead on AMC. I absolutely.
Isn't that a zombie or is that a vampire movie?
No, it's a zombie show.
I thought you'd like a vampire movie.
No. Actually, I saw one the other day on my iPhone that was actually pretty good. I forgot what it's called.
Listen, I'm not just in here trying to grill you over this stuff, but I promise you, we can put it on screen.
Yeah.
Detention camp order follows preparation for civil unrest. And then here's the emails. Here's the Halliburton operation. I have the Wall Street Journal 6 years ago where they first got the contract to build the camps. Now they're preparing to man the camps, and it talks about security, checkpoints, barbed wire, and barricades, and they have this Emergency Centers Establishment Act that basically says political dissidents will go in these.
Yeah.
Chief, are the feds out of their jurisdiction if they start arresting political dissidents?
Well, I think if you look at the First Amendment, that we have the right to free speech, the right to associate with whatever beliefs we have, as long as we don't start talking and taking action to hurt other people or taking arms. I think that'd be a slippery slope.
No kidding. But
can I have this?
Absolutely. Yeah, but in fact, guys, will you print him articles about the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, the Inde Posse Comitatus? They say the troops can operate anywhere in the U.S. and arrest citizens and never give you a trial.
You know, I think that if you talk to military leadership in this country, they would not feel, a lot of their senior leaders would not feel comfortable being involved in police actions within the confines of the continental United States.
Well, I agree with you. They actually have said they don't like it, and top JAG officers have come out, but they follow orders.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think that would be unprecedented.
I mean, you lived in Cuba when you were little. There, Fidel uses the military.
Well, Fidel uses everybody. I mean, you talk about each block has, and this is what American media drives me crazy. They would have, the May Day celebration in Havana. 2 million Cubans showed up. Dan Rather would do this all the time and shows how popular this guy was. No, what he failed to tell the American people is that on every block, there was a block captain for the defense of the revolution, and that block captain took notes to see who didn't go to the celebration, May Day celebration. Whoever didn't go, if your kid was in medical school, the next day they'd find themselves working the sugarcane fields. And so that's how they got people to go to those things, not because they loved the revolution, like some of these people that try to fantasize and romanticize communism. You know, if it was so great, so many thousands of Cubans wouldn't die trying to cross the strait every year trying to get out of that place.
Well, look what Chavez has done now. He's really wrecked Venezuela.
That's sad. It's sad.
And he uses the military domestically.
Yes, he does. And so I think they would, people can plan for whatever they want, but the American people will have the final say when it's all said and done.
We're going to skip this network break here and continue. We have the police chief here. You're with us a whole hour, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You are very gracious to do that.
Well, hey.
And before you leave, I know you have a tight schedule. Go see our new TV studio on the other side.
Oh, do you really?
It'll be good for your intelligence files as well. Hey, I have had the FBI here. And the Secret Service, yes.
To talk to you or on the show?
To talk to me. And they wanted to know about the Obama posters out there on the wall. They thought that was like they'd found some crazy person's lair. And I explained it was, no, they came and were asking about the Obama deception.
Yeah.
My film. And I said, well, don't you know about it? And I'm serious. This happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I wish the feds were nice and friendly like you.
Well, I think that you build trust by talking to people and that's your cup, and having a dialogue. It's like our intelligence center. Everybody was sure that we created the Austin Regional Intelligence Center that the skeptics thought that it's there to spy on, law-abiding Americans. And what's really interesting is if you haven't been there, you should come and visit. You're welcome to see it. That was nothing more than trying to leverage technology to solve crime. And I'm glad to say that almost 2 years into it, we're doing it right here in Austin.
But the threat fusion centers all over the country are basically federally funded. And let me ask you this question. How many face scanning and license plate reading cameras are here in Austin? How many of the gunshot detectors that never catch anybody firing a firearm that, by the way, are really microphones listening to people? I mean, are you aware that Homeland Security's putting microphones up hidden in light poles all over the country?
No, but Live Shot, because we are a safe city, I'm glad to say that as much as people have tried to sell those to us, we have not bought them. I don't see a need for them. This is not a very violent city. It's a safe city, thank God.
But they're not really gunshot detectors. They're microphones to listen to people.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they could be multi-use if they wanted to, but the bottom line is we haven't bought them here. License plate readers, you might not like it, but I like LPRs because it's a good technology to catch. If you look at Britain, what happens is if you go into small towns, they've been fighting thanks to the troubles in Northern Ireland over the years. They've been fighting terrorism for many years. They've had a lot of people die over the years with explosions and stuff. But if you go into a British town, there's license plate readers at the entrance to most of those smaller towns. And if the vehicle's wanted for a crime or it's stolen, within minutes the police can actually apprehend that person because of that technology. So, I mean, technology isn't the technology in of itself is not evil. It's what you use it for.
How many cars do you have with it?
LPRs, I think we have 4, but don't quote me on that. It could be less. It could be a couple.
Because I see the news with the cops. They're like, that guy's wanted. That's a car robbery. That's a stolen car. I'm like, why aren't you stopping each one? Why are you driving past them?
Well, you didn't see that here. If it alerts, we're going to arrest the person. But to me, technology is a force multiplier. It gives us an ability to fight crime, disrupt crime, solve crime, in a more efficient manner.
Let me ask you this way. What would Hitler have done with face scanning systems and license plate readers?
Exactly, but it's not the technology that's evil.
Could your family have escaped Cuba or other families if Fidel Castro had that then?
I mean, they have fences, they have everything, and people...
The point is the courts let the violent criminals and bad ones go over and over again. We know it's like 5% of the population that's causing almost all the crime. They just let them go. We don't need all this high-tech stuff because it always gets turned around on the population.
But, well, you know what? That's why I think that I always say this. We need to be, you need to trust but verify. That's one of those Reagan mantras, trust but verify. That's what I think that for us, like in our intelligence center, we have a really good privacy policy. We have a privacy policy committee that's well represented, including advocates. I actually invited John Bush of the Texans for Accountable Government, and I know you guys are buddies, to be on it. He declined. I invited the ACLU to be on it. They declined. But it's because we want to show them that we want, you know, to me, having that level of accountability and transparency helps me build trust, one, and two, it helps us create an environment where the misuse of the data or some rogue officer or something goes off sideways. I want to have those checks and balances to make sure we're doing things right.
What about 10 years ago? You weren't here then. What, you've been police chief how many years?
It'll be 5 in July.
Yeah.
I looked at a picture the other day. I have aged in those 5 years, buddy. This place has killed me.
Well, responsibility does age you.
Yeah.
You haven't aged that much, but you've aged a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to show you a picture when we're done.
You had more of the Bob Big Boy haircut and stuff before.
Well, I'm going to grow it out again.
I think it's good.
Like it?
Yeah, whatever.
It's kind of long.
You got more hair than I do. It's good. No, but going back here.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, and I have a clip of it in my film Road to Tyranny, it showed Austin police in the elementary schools going, you can get up to $200 for reporting crime. Here's your little credit card, your little card that you get prizes for. And then I went and got a card, talked to parents, and it even had stuff like, look in your parents' medicine cabinets. That sounds like Fidel Castro to me.
We did that?
Yeah. Is that program still going?
No. I wouldn't be a proponent to do that.
Or maybe that's the AISD police. Is that their own police department?
I like that better. They have their own.
No, but I don't. I mean, I've got to pull the video up
for it. I don't think. Have we ever had that program? I don't think so. We have. We have we have the different programs that if people, the We Tip type programs where if you witness to crime. Certain crimes you'll get a reward for. Yeah,
but how do you vet that? Because a lot of times people who will do it because they don't like somebody.
Well, you can't just convict somebody based on one anonymous tip. You've got to look for evidence.
Yeah, but we see the SWAT team cases where the retired insurance guy gets killed because the informant says, "Oh, there's drugs in there."
Yeah, but that wasn't here.
No, I know.
So we have protocol we follow here to make sure that we don't hit the wrong houses, to make sure that we, you don't just trust blindly, that you have to build a case. You just, a tip is but one piece. It's kind of like everybody's worried about this, see something suspicious, say something. Well, if you see a bag sitting in a busy downtown street just sitting there, that's suspicious. You should say something. We don't know what's in that bag.
But terrorism, you got a better chance of dying from a honeybee sting. I've been at the airport now and left my bag to go over and get napkins or something 20 feet away and watch people starting to freak out. I mean, it's like people are just completely scared of everything.
Well, I don't know if they're completely scared, but I think
these new see something ads, it like shows a guy put his bag down. The woman's like, hey, you, and then they got bomb teams out and robots.
But the reality is there are people who would like to do us harm. And the bottom line is I think that as long as we collectively as Americans are all responsible for the safety and security of our nation. And that means that the reason Austin, despite the fact that we have fewer police officers than most cities our size per capita, we have 2 officers per every 1,000 residents. The national average for big cities, which is 500,000 or more people, is 2.7 per 1,000. The national average nationwide, when you consider all 18 to 19,000 police departments, is 2.4 per resident per 1,000 residents. We're at 2 per 1,000 is because we have a highly educated community, an engaged community, and a community that stands up for its neighbors. And when they see something, they see somebody breaking in, they call. When they see